Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and fun fact about me, I have finally figured out why I'm not happy. It's actually not my major depressive disorder at all. Those doctors were just woke, man-hating communists who were pushing the gay agenda. I recently learned from TikTok that I would be happiest as a TradWife, short for traditional wife. So I put it to the test. Sort of. Although TradWives come with different uniforms varying between barefoot in the kitchen to full-on glam, I decided to go with the latter, as that seems to attract the most controversy. So I got dressed up, put on some lipstick, ditched my antidepressants, and went to work cleaning, as that is what make woman brain happy. That was a joke. Please don't stop taking your medications for the love of God. Although I do not have a husband yet, probably because I don't smile enough, it's always nice to practice. So I am going to try to clean the kitchen in my chosen TradWife outfit. This should be super easy and not at all inconvenient in this getup. Something I've noticed is that I don't see a lot of cleaning on TradWife TikTok. Mostly I see baking in pristine kitchens, making out or dancing with their lovers, and not a whole lot of intensive labor going on. That's because social media isn't real life. We'll talk more about that later, but I'm going to spare you guys from further watching me clean this kitchen in this boring-ass montage. There is nothing glamorous about this. Mostly, it just made my scoliosis flare up because I was doing this in heels. All I learned was that I'm a very sweaty person who needs more breathable clothes, and that all of these influencers on the internet are fucking liars. I promise I won't do that voice the whole video. Homemakers slash stay-at-home moms slash TradWives have always been a thing, but the hashtag TradWife has only been trending on social media for the last 5 years or so, and it has gained traction on TikTok for about the last 2 years. And I only found out about it about a month ago. Most likely because I am not their target audience, as I am a raging angry feminist who does not know how to cook, clean, and isn't allowed to wear dresses. At least, that is apparently what some people think feminism means.
I'm not a feminist. I can wear dresses and feel pretty. I'm not a feminist. Thank you. I'm not a feminist. I don't hate children. I'm not a feminist. I would watch this video and I wouldn't be offended. I'm not a feminist. I can actually cook.
To be clear, nothing she said in that video had anything to do with feminism, but it wouldn't be the internet if misinformation was not being spread 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week. Feminism is the belief that men and women are equal, and that women have the freedom to choose to wear dresses or not, to wear makeup or not, and to have a career or not. But these new wave of TradWives tend to be extremely anti-feminist, and they think they are being persecuted because they have chosen to participate in traditional gender roles.
What culture tells women that it's honorable to sacrifice everything for your job, but it's unfair to sacrifice everything for your family?
We live in a day and age where traditional homemaking has been forgotten about and even looked down on, where women are fighting to be in the same positions as men, indoctrinated to focus more on their careers and less on the home. When God created men and women more than just biologically different, our roles are meant to complement each other, not to compete. Our husbands are to be the breadwinners as we are to be the bread makers. Somewhere along the line, feminine has been replaced with feminism with the sole purpose of keeping women out of the home.
Women are proudly stating that they don't want a career and they want to be a full-time wife and mother. And the truth is, there is no higher calling than being a wife and a mother for a woman. Now, let me make this crystal clear. I am not undermining any woman who wants a career. If you want a career along being a wife and a mother, that is great. But being a wife and a mother should be your top priority always.
I'm not gonna lie, don't tell the feminists, but I would rather stay home and cook and clean. I would rather do it. When I tell you I love to cook and clean, just don't tell the feminists. I love to do it, and I love to do it for a man.
I want a job. I don't want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I want to be cleaning. I want to be shopping. I want to be making brownies. I want to be cooking dinner, making homemade meals every night, almost every night. I want to do all the things.
I don't want to lose my soul, chasing after things I don't need. The caption to that last video says, "I don't get into modern feminism because it clearly doesn't align with what the Bible teaches. From a biblical perspective, the movement degrades men from being natural leaders and providers and steers women away from traditional roles as mothers and wives. Remember that the Bible encourages us not to conform to the world's ways, but to transform our minds through its teachings. That's why I choose biblical principles over feminism." Doesn't your Bible also teach that if a woman isn't a virgin before she gets married, she should be stoned to death? And that it's okay to assault a woman as long as you marry them after? And that it's okay to sleep with your daughters to continue the family bloodline? Fuck your Bible. It is a book that has been rewritten so many times over thousands of years to justify slavery, misogyny, genocide, but go off, queen. And can you guess what every TradWife has in common? Ding ding ding, Christianity. I looked for an atheist TradWife and I came up short. Maybe they exist, but they sure as hell are living their lives in peace. And I really appreciate that. A common argument that I have seen in the comment section is that these women aren't doing anything wrong by making videos about how they choose to live their lives. That feminism means women have a choice to be in traditional gender roles and we should leave them alone. I'd agree if that is what they were doing. The majority of TradWives that I have come across don't just think that their lifestyle is right for them, but right for all women. Take Estee Williams, who is one of the more obnoxious players of TradWife TikTok. Her content started going viral in 2022 when she started to defend her chosen traditional lifestyle.
Okay, so I'm here to make a clarification video because of the big controversy going around about the term TradWife and the intent behind the term, as well as the intent behind my channel and what I post. If you are not familiar with the term TradWife, it is a woman who chooses to live a more traditional life with ultra-traditional gender roles. So the man goes outside the house, works, provides for the family. The woman stays home and she's the homemaker. She takes care of the home and the children if there are any. The misconception about the TradWife movement, it's not really a movement. Nobody's pushing it. People are typically just living it and maybe showcasing their lifestyle like me. And we believe our place, specifically us as individuals, believe our purpose is to be homemakers. It doesn't mean that we are trying to take away what women fought for.
Okay, I need to pause to make a small observation. Almost every single one of these TradWife influencers use the word woman when they should be using the word women. One woman, singular, two women, plural. Women, not woman. Women, woman. And they all do it. They all say woman when they should be saying women. I'm not trying to take away what woman fought for. Just one. Okay, petty moment over.
There are a lot of people trying to make this a sinister thing or put some other darker meaning behind the term TradWife. Nobody is doing that. No TradWife TikTokers are saying every woman's place is in their home. We as individuals are just choosing to be homemakers. That's all.
If that was the only video I had seen of Estee Williams and TradWives, I wouldn't understand what the problem was either. Except I wish that what she said was true. It's not. Estee is one of the worst offenders of being judgmental and telling other women how they should live their lives.
It is January 2024. Ladies, let's wear clothes. Let's dress like women. And you know what? If you're gonna go to the grocery store after the gym and you're in your workout clothes, there's no need to go home and change. Go to the grocery store. There's nothing wrong with that. But to purposely go in your closet and pick a pair of leggings, knowing you have other pants and other outfits, and to choose that as your whole day's attire, let's do a little bit better. But going back to the picture of the couple in the 50s, it has been known and said plenty of times, women just put more effort into the way they look. They embraced being women. They embraced being feminine. They didn't adopt their boyfriend or husband's sense of style. And men, of course, did not do that with women's fashion as well. And talking about this does not make me want to go back to the 50s because I am putting a picture of a 1950s couple. Does not mean I want to go back to the 50s. However, I can look at this picture and appreciate women being women and men being men, and women dressing feminine and enjoying the time it takes to get ready and look that way. My mom used to tell me that she used to like powder her nose and fluff up her hair before my dad got up for the day. And you know, that's beautiful. I'm not saying you have to do that, but just to know that women did these things back in the day. It's very interesting to me that women will wait for a special occasion to look nice and put all this effort in, but they will spend $75 on a pair of leggings, $100 on a pair of leggings, and wear those every day because everybody else is doing it. This is social contagion. It's no different than all these trends you see everywhere else. But you know what? We can change that, you guys. We can wear better clothes. My husband and I have talked, and we are in complete agreement that if we saw our daughter walk down the stairs dressed in a big t-shirt and spandex and you couldn't tell if she was wearing pants, I would send her right back up and tell her to put some real clothes on, unless she was going to gymnastics or cheerleading, somewhere where this apparel is appropriate. But if she's going with her friend and she's going to the mall, she's not going to dress like that. So fathers, don't let your daughters dress like this just because it makes them happy and everybody else is doing it. Set standards for your daughter. And my ladies who are not mothers yet, let's set a good example for our future daughters, for our future sons, so that they can pick women that are dressed like ladies. That is all I have to say today about fashion and how it has completely changed from the 1950s to now, and not in any way that is good whatsoever. And you know what? I'm gonna put it out here. So anyways, thank you for listening and have a great rest of your year.
I put the entire video in there because I am not taking anything out of context. She sat there with her full chest and balls and said, "Ladies, you are dressing like garbage gremlins." It is a far cry from, "Us TradWives aren't judging anybody. You do you and I'll do me." And guess what? She's allowed to have these opinions. But I am begging the internet as a whole to stop saying, "Why is everyone attacking me?" acting like they weren't just attacking someone. That's my entire channel, is being critical of other people. I'll admit it, I judge people all the time, and people judge me all the time. Welcome to the internet. You can't throw the first punch and be surprised when people fight back. And she and other TradWives have thrown a lot of punches. Because no one is saying that women aren't allowed to wear dresses. I mean, maybe she was getting comments critiquing her outfits, which I think is silly. She looks super cute, and I love her hair. I think you can criticize her for a lot of things, and that isn't one of them. Women can wear whatever they want to wear. But Estee telling me that I'm not allowed to wear leggings in public makes me want to wear leggings in public even harder. I don't know what that means. But since having a persecution complex and being Christian go hand in hand, it makes sense that these Christian TradWives think they're the victims and not extremely condescending, judgmental assholes. Take Jasmine, for instance, who, like Estee, believes in submitting to your husband, that women were meant to stay at home and pop out 1,000 children, and she starts her post with things like trigger alert. But the self-proclaimed queen of being unbothered is very, very bothered by another TradWife named Nara Smith.
Okay, listen, I'm your typical TradWife, okay? I post TradWife content. I have over 140 whatever thousand followers on Instagram. Not that I'm bragging, just trying to explain. Because I post TradWife content, okay? I understand the whole TradWife movement. I'm a part of it. Love it, okay? One thing I do not understand is these videos being like, my toddler requested Cocoa Puffs and jam scones and toast for breakfast. So now I'm going to make everything from scratch and cook it all, and it's probably going to take 6 hours. My toddler just asked for breakfast, and it's going to take me probably 3 to 6 hours to cook this toddler breakfast. And that's... what? Like, I'm sorry, but if I asked for toast for breakfast and my mom started making some bread, I would be pissed. I want toast now. Give me my Cocoa Puffs now. I don't want to wait 3 hours for breakfast. That's not how it works. Look, I understand that some of these are a joke. I get it. I get some of them are a joke. But some of them I feel like are being serious. Or maybe they're just doing it for views. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if I asked for toast and my mum started making bread, I would be so pissed off.
The comments under her post read, "Another white woman intimidated by Nara Smith. This should be a case study. When a TradWife gets out-TradWived, LOL." It's giving jealousy. Just say you wish you were as talented, beautiful, and rich like Nara Smith. Nara has the girls shook. I feel like people that hate on Nara are mad that they lack the financial status, and even madder that she has hella cool and useful skills that most modern TradWives lack. I tend to agree with this. She doesn't say Nara's name in her video, but it is so obviously directed at her. And Jasmine claims to be a person that is anti-government, who wants to be self-sustaining, so shouldn't she be applauding a woman that's making everything from scratch? Isn't that pretty self-sufficient of her? Like, why is she mad? Let's take a look at what she was talking about.
This morning I asked my toddlers what they wanted for breakfast, and they both said cereal, so cereal it was, and we got started right away. I made 2 types of cereal. The first one was chocolate chip cookie cereal, so I mixed some flour, peanut butter, maple syrup, milk, and chocolate, and formed that into a dough. Then I rolled tiny little balls and flattened them out to resemble little cookies. I put all of them on a baking sheet and then popped that in the oven for about 10 to 13 minutes. Pulled that out and let that cool while I started on my second type of cereal. The cereal was a Cocoa Puff cereal, so I did oat flour, maple syrup, cocoa powder, some nut butter, and gave that a really good mix. Then I formed that into a ball, cut that in 4 pieces, and then started assembling my small little Cocoa Puff balls. I didn't want to flatten these out, so I just laid them on the baking sheet like this and put those in the oven as well for about 10 minutes. Once those were done, I let those cool as well, and then assembled my little bowl of cereal with my Cocoa Puffs and my cookies, topped that with milk, and that's what they had for breakfast.
Think about the TradWife content that I've shown you guys so far and compare it to this. It is so tame and unproblematic, and it's fascinating as now I know how to make cereal. Am I going to? No, but now I know how. She does not use the hashtag TradWife, nor has she ever called herself that. Nara is the definition of minding your own business and not pushing her chosen lifestyle on anyone else. But the thing that people have the most problem with is the fact that she is Mormon.
And I started my morning routine. I did my scriptures, journaling, and wrote my to-do list. It's absolutely crazy to me that people assume that they know what I believe in, what my faith is, what my stance on other issues are, based off of a 2-second clip in one of my videos. And they have absolutely no clue, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I know that my religion is a very hot topic on the internet. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning and figuring out my own faith. I'm not in any way a hardcore Mormon or anything like that. I don't wear garments. I didn't get married in the temple. Both me and my husband are on our own journeys and figuring out how we want to raise our kids.
So Nara's husband is Lucky Smith from Spanish Fork, Utah, and from what I can tell, he is born and raised Mormon. And as you just heard her say, she is still figuring out her spirituality and is not hardcore about her religion. I think it is interesting that she said her and her husband are on their own faith journeys, which I think is code for she's not as gung-ho about Mormonism as he is. And I don't know how active Lucky is, but he did make an entire Instagram post dedicated to how much he loves the Book of Mormon, so I'd say he's pretty into it. The main criticism people have of her is how racist the church is and has been since its origins, which is true, but that's a criticism I could make of any member of the church. But people seem more upset with her specifically because she is a black woman, and people are entitled to their opinions, but there are other black members of the church, albeit not many. The church is like 80% white, but I'm sure Lucky has told her that the church isn't racist and Brigham Young was just in a silly, goopy mood and God changed his mind about black people and blah, 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 blah. Your usual apologist rhetoric. What's crazy to me is when people say that the content she makes is Mormon propaganda. And those people have obviously not come across the same TikTok accounts I have that plague my existence. But before these videos where she explains her relationship with her religion, she was not talking about it at all. She got berated with comments because she did mention she read her scriptures in a daily vlog post. And she could have definitely left that out, but she was just showing what her daily routine was like, and that was part of it. But 99.9999999% of her content is cooking, doing her makeup, talking about her pregnancy, very normal stuff that you see on TikTok. She never tells women that their place is in the home. She never quotes scriptures, and she never makes any social or political commentary at all. She is actually doing what these other women claim to be doing, which is minding her business. The only criticism I have of Nara is one that I have of every single influencer on the internet, which is that it's not real. It is highly curated content meant to create a certain image of that person. Influencers only show their highlight reel. You don't see a messy kitchen. You don't see them and their spouses fighting. The kids aren't screaming. And this isn't every influencer, but she is part of that ultra classy aesthetic influencers that make everything seem okie dokie all the time. And that's my criticism of social media in general, is that it leads people to believe that people's lives are better than they actually are. And I'm not saying Nara's not happy or that these other TradWives that I do not agree with aren't happy. I'm sure they are. I'm saying they're just people at the end of the day. Most of them very, very rich people. Is it a crime to be wealthy? No. Should you expect some backlash if people feel like you are flaunting and bragging about your life of leisure? Yeah, a economy has been pretty bad, so it's understandable. Take Ballerina Farm, aka Hannah Nealman, who I horrifyingly realized is just a year older than me at 34. She is also LDS, and people were livid when they recently found out that her husband is the heir to the jet blue throne and is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She cosplays the slow, simple farm life while nightlighting as a pageant queen and also running a full-scale business selling all sorts of home goods, including flour for $40 a bag. I just don't know what about her life before this information about her husband came out told y'all that she was not rich. She has 8 kids. Children are expensive. Running a business is expensive. Homegirl looks good, but she has eyelash extensions and perfectly manicured eyebrows. This isn't giving poor farmer's daughter. It's giving Utah Valley influencer. But she has been on the internet for a while now, and here's a clip I found of her explaining why she thinks her social media has gained such a large following.
I think what made our social media maybe grow faster than what any of us had imagined is because people related to us, because we weren't, you know, generational farmers that knew what we were doing. We really were jumping into something that we had no experience in. Just like sourdough bread for me, it was something that I hadn't grown up doing. I didn't know anything about sourdough, but I was, you know, brave enough and vulnerable enough, I guess, to share that learning process on my social media. And a lot of people related to that because they were like, okay, she doesn't know what she's doing and I don't know what I'm doing, so we're going to learn together. And yeah, that's the beauty of social media too, is I think there's so much out there that we can learn from each other and really create a community that's something special.
Her idea of vulnerability is making sourdough. Thank you so much for sharing. You're so brave. Okay, I get what she was saying. She's saying it's good to put you learning something on the internet, even if you feel stupid, because other people feel stupid when they're just starting something. But watching this video gave me a better idea of why people have a problem with her. And it's because she seems to have a lack of understanding of her privilege. She says people like her because she's relatable, but there's very little about her actual life that's relatable. She married into money and has always had a safety net. Most people will never see the kind of money that she has access to. So when she's parading the bootstrap mentality and if I can do it, you can do it, that's just not true. And I'm not saying she's not grateful, but not acknowledging that you had a head start in life due to your privilege is harmful, in my opinion. I'm also not saying that she doesn't work hard, because she seems like she works incredibly hard, but her life would be very different if she wasn't wealthy. And I'm talking wealthy before she started her business, before her social media blew up. Her life might not have turned out that way if she didn't have that money to prop her up. She had to invest money in the business and invest money into every single person that helps her and her husband run their property. And trust me, it is not just her and her husband running all of this. She has babysitters, she has tutors, she has employees, she has social media managers, and she claims she doesn't have nannies, but I call bullshit. Someone on Reddit claimed that they saw her with nannies at the airport recently, and maybe she calls them something else like part-time helpers, or she has family members help her out, but either way, she rarely acknowledges the people around her that are helping her and pretends it's just her and her family's work ethic, which is disingenuous. There have been studies on how money affects your brain, and people born with a lot of money tend to think that they work harder than those born without a lot of money. I think they even tested this with Monopoly. Okay, I need to talk about this Monopoly study really quick. This is an article I found from marketplace.org. It turns out that having more money doesn't necessarily make a person more inclined to share their money with others. In fact, research suggests the opposite is true. One experiment by psychologists at the University of California invited a pair of strangers to play a rigged Monopoly game where a coin flip designated one player rich and one poor. The rich players received twice as much money as their opponent to begin with. As they played the game, they got to roll 2 dice instead of 1 and moved around the board twice as fast as their opponent. When they passed go, they collected $200 to their opponent's $100. At the end of the game, when researchers asked the rich players why they had won the game, not one person attributed it to luck. They don't talk about the flip of the coin. They talk about the things that they did. They talk about their acumen. They talk about their competencies. They talk about this decision or that decision. When something good happens to you, we think about the things that we did that contributed to that success, Piff said. And I love this next quote. It can get people who are winning at the game of life, who have more money, who have more privilege, who have more power, to think about their resources as things that they deserve, to be less likely to think that inequality is a problem because, after all, they deserve what they have, and as a result, to be less willing to do things about it. I feel like this just confirms what a lot of us already knew, which is that wealthy people don't tend to be more generous, and the trickle-down economy is not real, and if Monopoly taught me anything as a child, it is to eat the rich. And it plays into the prosperity gospel, which Mormonism definitely teaches. They say, oh, I'm just blessed because I'm a hard worker and Jesus loves me. And it's like there are so many hardworking people that will never see her kind of success because of their lack of privilege. Not because they don't have good ideas, not because they're lazy, but because of circumstances that were out of their control and that they were born into. Her walking a pageant 10 days postpartum, while impressive, is not relatable. And she's allowed to be proud of that, but it's most likely genetics and a fast metabolism. Okay, I can hear y'all typing now, just hold on. Let her do what she wants. Why are you shaming her? Aren't you a feminist? I don't think anybody, moms, single women, fucking 3-year-olds should be participating in beauty pageants. I think they're dumb and super regressive to women. I could make an entire video, and maybe I will, of how Mormonism plays into the beauty pageant industry, but it's definitely very prevalent here in Utah. I don't think they're inspirational, and I don't think postpartum women or any women should aspire to be like Hannah. People in the comments on her posts are like, how does she do it? Money? Girly Pop cannot move her forehead, and as someone who does want Botox, I think she looks great. I want her skin on my skin. And she still had a tummy after giving birth naturally, but she was like wearing corsets and tummy control wear under her ball gowns. So she's still not showing her natural body on stage. Pageants are what social media used to be. We can nip and tuck and filter our photos, but ladies have been nip and tucking their appearance for years. She's just taking it old school. It's a performance, and an extremely outdated one at that. And as far as people being like, she's not telling you to be in pageants, she's just showing what she likes to do. The main portion of pageants is flaunting your body. That's 95% of it. You're supposed to look a certain way. And then like the talent portion and answering questions is like 5% of it, but nobody cares about that. I'm not telling her to not go out in public. Like, I'm not shaming her for the way she looks. I'm shaming an entire industry built on shaming other women about the way they look, which is what beauty pageants do. So just because she hasn't explicitly said, hey, this is the way you should look, she's participating in shows that quite literally do that. And Nara Smith participates in the modeling industry, which you can absolutely criticize. And although I am loving that I'm seeing more body types in advertising, it still heavily skews towards women who are thin. And Nara is obviously a beautiful woman, but she is very thin, which I'm not shaming her for, but the industry she is in is extremely toxic to women that aren't. And both Nara and Hannah benefit financially from that. They are benefiting from your insecurities. So when people say, oh, it just sounds like you're jealous. Sounds like you're insecure. Girl, that's what they count on. I am fine looking the way I am. I consider myself a person with average confidence. But the beauty industry counts on you looking at these women and hating yourself in the mirror and going and spending a bunch of money to change it. They can say all day long, don't shame me for the way I look, when both of their jobs rely on shaming women for the way they look. Okay, let's keep going. Also, something small here is that she won Mrs. Utah, and then she also went on to win Mrs. South Dakota because she couldn't run for Mrs. Utah again. So she just went over to a state that she's not from and participated in the pageant. How is that allowed? And according to the internet, this pissed a lot of people off and they changed the rules because of this. I can't get into my 5-hour tangent right now of why I hate beauty pageants, but I think they're demeaning, I don't like them, and I don't like that she or anyone else promotes them. It is not lost on me that all of these successful TradWife influencers are on the thinner side. While Nara Smith might be an outlier due to being a black woman in a space filled with mostly white women, she is a successful model and was before TikTok. Would as many people like her or Ballerina Farms if they were 100 pounds heavier? I doubt it, seeing comments that I get about my own weight, and I've only been on the internet for a fraction of time that Hannah has. And Hannah certainly would not be walking in that pageant, as you need to be a certain size to walk those pageants, which is gross and objectifying and all that, this and the other. But to be a successful influencer most of the time means to be part of a facade. We are still not out of the overly filtered, my life is better than yours social media phase. And I'm not saying y'all have to share everything on the internet, but I think if someone like Hannah props herself up as being relatable, yeah, you gotta make sure you're actually relatable. But the only way she can do that is if she hides parts of her life, like the fact that she came into a lot of money. Every influencer does this, but little girls who see this content won't know the difference and have a false idea of what being a mother is like or what being married is like. And the giant screaming elephant in the room in all of this is all these women are working. Content creation and being an influencer is a job. None of them can claim to be traditional wives if they are making money. Women were not allowed to open their own bank accounts until the 60s, and they weren't allowed to have their own credit cards until the 70s. You are a modern woman if you are posting videos and making money from those videos. So the ones that specifically claim the TradWife name, like that's their niche, they use the hashtags. No, you're not. You're a modern woman. You go, girl boss. And even the women who aren't making money on the internet and are stay-at-home moms, they are also working. Women have always worked. Cooking is working. Cleaning is working. That's a job. You're just not getting paid for it, or your husband is kind of paying you if that's your arrangement. Yet they demonize feminism, even though it's the reason they are allowed to live the lives that they live. You cannot benefit from something while simultaneously saying it has no benefits. There are people literally trying to roll back the women's right to vote right now. And anyone on social media saying that women need to stay at home and they need to be wives and moms is disturbing to me. You can be a wife and a mom and a fucking astronaut if you want. You could never be married, never have kids, and go live in a commune if you want. Gender is a social construct, which means it's made up. Women's roles were literally created by men to serve men. If you like cooking for your man, snaps for you. Not everyone enjoys cooking. I can feed myself just fine, but I have no desire to slave away in the kitchen because it doesn't make me happy. But I am happy for you if that is what makes you happy. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom her entire life. So was her mom, and so was my dad's mom. I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly that can come from making this choice for yourself as a woman. I just don't like it when people say it is the only choice for a woman. Fuck off. But like I said, get your coin, get that bag, do what you gotta do, put some money in your purse. A man is not a plan. I saw a joke on TikTok that was like the 20-year-old TradWife to the 40-year-old single mom pipeline, and I'm not saying it's not true. If you put your life out on the internet, people are allowed to comment on it. No one is attacking you or persecuting you. They are responding to things you said. Thanks for watching. I hope my TradWife voice doesn't haunt you in the middle of the night, but I also hope that it does. Say goodbye to Trixie and Rexy. I should clarify that Rexy is still alive. Trixie is not. He lives with my parents and he's very old. And if I think about Trixie too much, I will start crying. Talk to you guys later. Bye.